These were the slave women with whom he cohabited. And he called them Milk al-Yamin. And with them he'll have children. But he'll never marry, so he never has a son. And from amongst these will come the new sultan. So when the Ottoman army wages war on a Christian people, it's their own son who is the Khalifa. Is that your Islam? It's not mine. And when the Ottomans took the control of Constantinople in 1453, they took the most magnificent cathedral of the entire Orthodox Christian world, Hagia Sophia, and shamefully sinfully converted it into a masjid. Is that your Islam? It's not mine. You can take that Islam and throw it into a garbage bin. That's not the Islam that came from Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. That's not the Islam that came from Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who when the Christian patriarch in Jerusalem invited him to perform his salat in the Christian church, he said, no, it's a time of prayer, but I will not pray in the church. You go outside and pray, because I don't want it tomorrow to come when someone will come and take over this church and transform it into a masjid. This is my Islam, that is yours. And you pledge your allegiance, the whole of Muslim India, to that Khilafah. That's one of the big weaknesses of the Khilafah movement. What they should have concentrated on was the Khilafah state, not so much the Ottoman Khilafah. Iqbal, I'm quoting from Naim Qureshi on page 384. Iqbal is not happy with the Khilafat movement. He's not supporting the Khilafat movement. He's out of tune with the Khilafat movement. No. And this is what he says. Iqbal, I quote, pinned his hopes in a revitalized Turkey, which had, in his opinion, not only shaken off its dogmatic slumber, but had also passed from the ideal of a Khilafah state to the real, which is a Republican state, a transition which entails keen intellectual and moral struggle. No, Iqbal, you're wrong. Turkey alone, says Iqbal, among all the Muslim countries, had embarked on the way of creating new values. Therefore, the Turks were perfectly sound in their view that the institution of the Khilafah, as understood in the traditional juridical sense, was anachronistic, and that an elected assembly, which was suited to the need of the time, was not incompatible with the spirit of Islam and should replace the institution of the Khilafah. Parliament. Pragmatic reconstruction of his own religious thought, which happened to be compatible and even synonymous with those of the followers of Mustafa Kemal. And so we say to you, Iqbal has made a mistake, and we must not be criticized if we say he made a mistake. But Iqbal saved himself, as every great scholar would do it. Listen to what he says. It must, however, be remembered, there is no such thing as finality in philosophical thinking. And as knowledge advances and fresh avenues of thought are opened, other views, and probably sounder views than those set forth in these lectures, are possible. Our duty is to carefully watch the progress of human thought and to maintain an independent, critical attitude towards it. These are golden words of Iqbal. You'll find it in my book, Iqbal and Pakistan's Moment of Truth. Now then, is Pakistan a Khilafah state? Answer: Pakistan says of itself that it is a Republican state. That's the name of the country, Islamic Republic of Pakistan. So it is a Republican state. And a Republican state, by definition, is a state in which Allah is no longer Al-Hakam. So you can do all the kinds of acrobatics you want to do with your objectives resolution. All the acrobatics you want with your objectives resolution. A Republican state is by definition a state in which Allah is no longer Al-Hakam. You do not govern and rule on the basis of Al-Haq or truth, but rather it is the people who decide. That's a Republican state. But it also declares that it is an Islamic state. And there's only one way to interpret the word Islamic, that's all, only one. And that is that Pakistan is claiming that it is a Khilafah state. Full stop. Once you say you are an Islamic state, it implies that you're claiming to be a Khilafah state, full stop. You can't be a Khilafah state and also a Republican state. So someone has to solve this problem in Pakistan. You cannot be a Khilafah state and also a Republican state. Well then, what do we do? Answer: we have to recognize that Pakistan is a member of the United Nations organization and has remained comfortably a member of the United Nations organization from the day it was born. Ahmad Sukarno took Indonesia out of the United Nations, but no one ever in the history of Pakistan even raised the subject. So Pakistan has been comfortably a member of the United Nations organization from day one. And therefore, supreme authority does not lie with Allah. The Security Council of the United Nations, Article 25 and 26 of the Charter of the UN, if you want, you can go and check it out. They control power. If the United Nations give you an order to stand up, the Security Council, you've got to stand up. Allah could tell you sit down, but if the Security Council says stand up, you have to stand up. That's a Republican state. Pakistan has been a member of the International Monetary Fund from day one. No one has ever shown any discomfort in Pakistan. None. No leader, no government, no party. If I'm wrong, kindly correct me. I'd be very happy to know. The International Monetary Fund says, Allah made this halal, but we are making it haram. That's there in the International Monetary Fund, the Articles of Agreement. Go check it out. Go and check it out. If you make haram what Allah made halal, it is shirk. And if you accept what they have done, you are now a part of the shirk. It is the one sin that Allah will never forgive if you die with that sin. Maybe this explains the hadith that you never hear anybody quoting, but it's there in Sahih Bukhari, that on Judgment Day Allah will say to Adam alayhi salam, take out the people for Jahannam. And Adam alayhi salam will ask, how many are they, O Allah? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would say to Adam alayhi salam, out of every 1,000, take 999 for Jahannam. It's only shirk which can explain that, nothing else. This hadith, what is it called now? Hadith which comes from Allah, what do you call it? Qudsi, Hadith al-Qudsi. It's actually sending a warning that there is going to be universal shirk in the world, so watch it. Pakistan is using the same bogus, fraudulent, utterly haram paper money, in consequence of which the masses are now miserably poor, while an elite drives around in expensive cars and live in luxurious villas and send their children to British and American universities, and they have a villa, yes, in Los Angeles, and they have another one in Miami, and oh yeah, because they're the shoeshine boys of those who use the monetary system to impoverish the masses. The Articles of Agreement of the International Monetary Fund make it haram to use gold as money. Even a schoolboy could understand. Even a schoolboy with the intellectual acumen of a schoolboy would be able to understand. The reason why they made gold haram is because so long as you have gold in the market, their bogus monetary system cannot exist. Even a schoolboy could understand that. So is Pakistan a Khilafah state? The answer is no. Can Pakistan become a Khilafah state? For Iqbal, and only Iqbal, nobody else, it is possible for Pakistan to become a Khilafah state at a certain point in time. Only Iqbal, nobody else. Nobody else talks on the subject of Gag and Magog. We now come to the end of the lecture, that the moment in the historical process is approaching. And when that moment occurs, the backbone of Gog and Magog will begin to break. And as that backbone begins to break, a window of opportunity is then opened. And in that opportunity which now emerges, perhaps the best people, the people who are best placed in the world of Islam to wage a struggle for the restoration of a Khilafah state is Pakistan. It's Pakistan. It cannot be the Arab world. Why? Because our Prophet prophesied the Arabs are going to be destroyed. And he linked the destruction of the Arabs to Gog and Magog. We don't have the time to quote that hadith. Now let us come to the last part of the lecture. That the Khilafah state can be restored. And when the Khilafah state is restored, it won't be a member of the United Nations. It will have no superior authority over it. It won't be a member of the International Monetary Fund. No. It'll be using dinar and dirham as money. Yes. The Khilafah state can be restored. But before we turn to the hadith, which explains why and when it can be restored, I have a surprise for you. A bitter surprise. That there are people in the world today who are struggling to establish a Khilafah state. That's what they're doing. A bogus Khilafah state, but a Khilafah state. They want the state of Israel to become a Khilafah state.